We catalogued their poisons. They called them seasons. When our first surveyors descended upon the blue world, the dossier read like a hymn to extinction. Hypervariable climate, solvent storms, sky fire that split oceans, apex predators that hunted in packs coordinated like armies, microbes that wore genius like armor. The Academy stamped it red, deathworld. And so we chose to orbit, to watch from a distance, to study the tragedy that was surely unfolding below. A cautionary hymn, we thought. A lesson in cosmic humility. Then a human waved at our observation drone. All 5 knives at the end of their forelimb. Glinting, friendly, absurd. They asked if we needed water. Our analysis paused for the first time in 3 centuries. Their cities were scabs on tectonic wounds, but they lived. Bridges flexed like ligaments. Skyscrapers swayed as if breathing. Their children played in salt-etched surf, dodging waves large enough to erase villages, if not for the stone teeth they had hammered into the shore. When the sea tried to devour them, they grew gills of steel, pumps, levees, floating gardens that fed off their defiance. When the forests burned, they carved fire breaks and learned to read smoke like scripture. They did not conquer their world, they conversed with it. Each storm was a dialect, each disaster, a teacher. They built homes that bowed without breaking. We, by contrast, were soft things of the gentle suns. Our storms came when expected. Our predators were metaphors told in polite debate. We mistook safety for kindness. We mistook calm for wisdom. So when the errant dwarf star swerved toward our orbit, 1 century too soon, our people panicked like children staring into lightning. We begged the humans for guidance. They asked, "How long?" We told them 9 years. They said simply, "Plenty." They came in patched armor and sun-browned smiles. Their ships bore the scars of 20 worlds and wore them like medals. Where we saw catastrophe, they saw unfinished work. They drank our sterile rivers, spat out blueprints. They taught water to remember its banks, taught our domes to breathe, taught our mountains to sing against the wind. One of them, an old woman with hands like folded maps, ran her fingers along the basalt ridge we begged her not to scar. She said, "Scars mean you healed." We wrote it down as poetry before realizing it was instruction. Year 5. The dwarf star spat knives. Our sky cracked open and the auroras went to war. But the towers sang instead of shattering. The rivers rose, then sat obediently in their new basins. The winds screamed across mountains that hummed in counterpoint, tuned harps of air and stone. And for the first time, our people stood outside in a storm and did not pray for mercy. We listened. When calm returned, we toured what they had built. We expected fortresses. We found ecosystems. Not walls, gardens. They had not insulated us from chaos. They had taught us its rhythm. Each design bent without surrender. Each machine failed softly, like a leaf curling before winter. They had given us not safety, but a language for survival. We asked for their word, the art of surviving a living world without demanding it die for you. They offered many: ranching, terracing, zoning, triage, neighbors. None were sacred. All were verbs. At the farewell feast, our high scribe offered them silvered seed capsules from our genetic archives and a poem thanking them for saving our gentle lives. The human captain shook his head. "Do not make us saints," he said. "We're just good at arguing with planets until they compromise." "Is that not war?" I asked. He grinned. "Not if you plan to keep dancing with the enemy." The dwarf star drifted off, tamed only by physics and stubbornness. The humans left behind structures that grew when fed, walls that whispered when stressed. Their instructions were less manual than recipe. Add pressure. Wait for response. A just seasoning of courage. We rewrote our hymns. We redrew our maps, not of territory but of verbs. Build, listen, adapt, bow, endure. Years later, when the first storm of the new age rolled down from the pole, our children ran out to meet it. They wore boots instead of fear. They laughed when the rain found them. And the wind, ancient and capricious, laughed back. We were ready to bow without breaking, ready to dance with the enemy. In our language, the word for gardener once meant translator, a tender word, fragile, too small for storms. Now we speak it in the human tongue. We call them gardeners. They come from a world that did not love them until they learned how to love it back, fiercely, patiently, beautifully. And in teaching us that, they taught us the most dangerous verb of all, live.